Okay, it's been a while. I've been really sick and fighting some things that I had to get through, and now we're back. So today we are going to be looking at Romans 8:26 through 30. Romans is at the beginning of the New Testament. So if you're not familiar with it, it's at the beginning of the New Testament. It says, starting in verse 26, it says, "Likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness, for we do not know how to pray as we ought to, but that very Spirit intercedes with sighs too deep for words. And God, who searches the heart, knows what is the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for the saints according to the will of God. We know that all things work together for good for those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. For those whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, in order that he might be the firstborn within a large family. And those whom he predestined, he also called. And those whom he called, he also justified. And those whom he justified, he also glorified." So the first thing that I want to say is a lot of people quote Romans 8:28. It says, "We know that all things work together for good for those who love God." People take this and it's taken out of context and they think, oh, well, I can go to church and pray and I love God and I try to be a good person and that's it. No. God asks us to be like him. He asks us to conform to his likeness. And so we have to do and act and say the things that he would. And that's hard. And it's not that we have to be perfect, but we have to be trying. I have right off to the side of this in my Bible, and I'll even show you here. It says, "The plans of God are only revealed in the presence of God." And that, I love that one sentence, because it reminds me that I'm not going to know what God has planned unless I'm in his presence all the time. And so how do I be in his presence? One of the things that I have been struggling with is I have a situation, and I don't want to be in that situation, and I'm tired of it, and it's aggravating. And so for a long time, I would try to find things to substitute for that situation so that I didn't have to deal with it anymore. And one of the things that I've realized is, our plans are not God's plans. And we get so caught up in our flesh, and we get so caught up in the I deserves, and the this shouldn't be like this, and I'm going to go find something better, or I'm going to go be around people that are better or treat me better. A lot of times God allows these situations to happen because he wants to bring himself glory. And that's what it's about. And I go back to Exodus all the time, because Moses was so tired of Pharaoh hardening his heart and not letting his people go. But God hardened Pharaoh's heart. And so then you look at it and you're like, well, why would God do that? He needed to bring himself glory. And sometimes God allows those things because that's the way for him to get that glory. And so when you're in a situation, whether it's a relationship or a friendship or work or home, whatever situation you find yourself in, and you're like, I don't like this, it's not comfortable, it doesn't do this for me, it doesn't do that for me, I don't want to be in this anymore, let me try to get out of this. Stop and take a step back and say, God, what are you trying to show me? What are you trying to teach me? I have learned and grown so much since I've started doing that. And it's something that is still very hard for me, but I attempt to do it all the time. Like, okay, God, don't let me be a complainer. You obviously have put me in this situation for a reason. There's something that you want done. There's somebody that I need to minister to. There's a lesson that I need to learn, but there's something. So God, reveal that to me. Show me what I need. So just some encouragement. The Holy Spirit in these verses, he's saying he goes to God for us. We're not lacking anything. I know that sometimes I've been so upset, and I know that other people can relate, where I'm just like, I don't even know what to say to you, God. Like, I'm just so overwhelmed, and I don't know what to do. That's the beauty of loving God, truly loving God, is the Holy Spirit does those things for you. He knows what you need, and he goes to God, and he says those things on your behalf. And so you don't have to have your words together. You don't have to have your prayers together. But you do have to follow him with everything. And that means, what are you eating? What are you wearing? What are you saying? What's coming out of your mouth? What are you watching? What are you putting into your mind? Everything, who you surround yourself with, all of these things play a part in how you're behaving. Christ tells us to be the church, not go to a church. So remember that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to church. If that's what you want to do, you go right on ahead. But God doesn't call us to go to a church building and that's the holy people. He calls us to be the hands and feet. And that entails being the hands and feet. Finding the people that are in need. Finding people that need help. Helping them. Helping widows. Helping orphans. Reaching out to people when they've been ugly to you. Forgiving people. There's so much that entails. If you need help, if you need guidance, if you need resources, please let us know. We would love to help. Have a good day.